Our next speaker is Weston Lewis from KPMG Australia. Weston is an international sustainability practitioner with experience leading sustainability initiatives across buildings, communities, and businesses. At KPMG Australia, he is a sustainability leader in the climate and sustainability team within Impact and Citizenship, where he focuses on delivering low carbon and nature-based solutions that support the firm's climate action targets. Beyond his professional role, Weston is deeply engaged in the sustainability community. He serves on the Melbourne Regenerative Design Forum Leadership Committee, contributing to the development of more sustainable urban environments, and is also a board member of the Melbourne Forum, helping foster civic engagement on contemporary issues. So please welcome me in please join me in welcoming Weston to the stage.
I think we're good. All right. Well, look, amazing stories, you two. It's pretty amazing. So, first of all, I thought I'd maybe just briefly mention who I am and what means a lot to me. So, I've always had a deep connection to nature. My mom, when I was little, she'd kick me out of the house for a couple hours, say, "Don't come back until dinner's ready." And so all I had, we didn't have electronics, phones or whatever back then. So I just played. I played in nature, played with my friends. As I grew up, I love sports, love getting outdoors, love rafting or hiking or whatever it may be. And then in uni, I didn't know what to do, as most people, or a lot of people. So I did a business degree. And then in my final subject, I came out to Australia, 2008, and did a field study in sustaining human societies and changing environments. And that gave me the acumen, it gave me the understanding of where climate is, what are the issues with society. I was able to kick off my shoes, put my feet in the dirt out in Carnarvon Gorge, out west in Queensland. Beautiful, beautiful place. Go in the reefs and talk with First Nations people. And that really set my career trajectory. And since then, I've been committed and devoted to having a career in sustainability, which is why I'm so excited as a senior manager of KPMG in terms of sustainability and climate and our KPMG Nature Positive Challenge to be talking about backing innovation for impact. So I've got a question for everybody. What do these ventures have in common? So this is a new business that is restoring reefs at scale using advanced technology and AI. This is a company that's rethinking the way that plastics are made without fossil fuels. A new venture that's protecting coastal ecosystems and storing carbon. A bunch of innovative tech folks that are reimagining the architecture of AI processing. And a First Nations business that's commercializing native botanicals while restoring natural environments. Different sectors, different founders, different industries. But they're all driving towards one direction, and that's nature positive solutions. And they've all been part of the KPMG Nature Positive Challenge. And so in 2022, the KPMG Nature Positive Challenge was initiated. That's 4 years ago. And it was around a simple premise. If we expect different environmental outcomes, we need different kinds of innovation. And so since that time, we've had 19 incredible finalist startups go through the program. You can see Xylos Systems were our second winner, which is amazing. And over that time, we've delivered almost $1 million in pro bono services to these ventures to help them address challenges within their business and help scale, connect with our networks and our brand. But this really aligns and supports KPMG's purpose of inspiring confidence and empowering change. Because confidence comes with backing credible solutions, and change comes by enabling the people that are building them. And so we say, why nature? Well, over 50% of our economic output is dependent on nature. The air we breathe, the water we drink, the food we eat, our health and well-being, the materials around us that built the world that we see. But we're also seeing nature and biodiversity decline at its fastest rate than ever. We're seeing this in climate risk. Not everybody has fresh drinking water. Not everybody has clean air. Disrupted supply chains, increased insurance costs. And so we need nature. And if there's one thing that I've learned while I've been in Australia from First Nations community, is that we're not separate from nature, we are nature. And so nature positive, it's pretty simple. It just means protect what remains, restore what's been degraded, and improve how we operate. It's not a slogan, but a future model for how we should be working. And so the pattern we've seen over the years is that some of the strongest ventures aren't the ones that do incremental improvements, but they change the system we work in. And so some of the strengths are we're taking extractive materials and we're making regenerative ones. We're closing the loop through creating resources out of waste, new production methods, using advanced technology to help drive impact and understanding of nature. And so I say, let's have a look at this in action. So we have Taryn of Coral Maker from WA, who's using advanced automative technology and AI to produce potentially thousands of corals in one day that can be taken to reefs to restore reefs, as well as seed new reefs in more temperate areas that are less susceptible to climate change and acidification. Taryn already has a 10-hectare pilot project in the Albaros Islands of WA and working with local communities and First Nations communities to bring this to life. And so Taryn is looking for corporate partners and others out there that value nature, that want to restore nature. And she wants to scale this worldwide as a production model. Next up, we have Michael, a former lawyer, and Julia, a marine scientist of Ulu, our first winners of the Nature Positive Challenge, rethinking how plastics are made without fossil fuels. They developed a technique to use seaweed instead of plastics or fossil fuels that can be fit into the traditional plastic construction process. And so plastics is a $1 trillion industry. And right now, we only have about 8% that's being recycled, which is outrageous. We have plastic islands in the ocean. We don't want plastic islands. I heard somebody today, or not too long ago, say they were pajama shopping, and they saw Ulu buttons. And why do we need buttons that are plastic? We can do better. But Ulu has just raised approximately $20 million in private capital, 4.6 in government grants over the past 6 months. And I think we'll be seeing a lot more of them. So I'd keep an eye on the space. Anna, a Queensland-based business, Blue Carbon, has created OPOD technology, which is wave-powered and solar-powered, to fit into aquaculture, desalination, monitoring, and carbon storage. So she's on her second iteration of this technology and is already deploying it within aquaculture and desalination. She's hoping to partner up with our neighbors over in the South Pacific who are extremely vulnerable to climate, as well as reliant on fossil fuels for a lot of pumping and desalination. And so she thinks that by bringing this to them, make them more resilient as well as more sustainable. These innovators at Sienta are changing the way AI chips are made. So they're redesigning the architecture of AI chips. And through developing a new methodology of printing interconnects. And now, who knows what an interconnect is? Probably I didn't. But I like to think of it as maybe a fire hose. You know, you can only get so much water out of that. But these fire hoses were full of PFAS. Took a lot of water to create and a lot of energy to create. They've redesigned that process to be PFAS free and use a lot less water and energy in production. But the cool thing is that these fire hoses are a lot wider. There's a lot more water that can get through, a lot more bandwidth, meaning that these chips can now be a lot more efficient in operation, saving energy and saving money. And then Sheree and Phil. I got to spend the past couple of days with Phil from Native Secrets, and it was phenomenal. They're a First Nations business that uses traditional knowledge of the land to commercialize a native botanical while restoring this land. So they use white cypress pine, which has become invasive. It hasn't been managed in 250 years. And so they thin out the forest, which allows for other species like wattle and eucalyptus to come back, to flourish, to bring in other little species like I think it's the pigtail worm, which is a little lizard. If you see one of those, you know the ecosystem's good. And they extract those oils to create skincare products and native botanicals. And they're working with CSIRO to understand the medicinal benefits, because this has been used in traditional Aboriginal culture for thousands of years. And so they've got big plans to distribute worldwide. I think you can already go find their products in Taronga Zoo. And I'm really hoping we can get the team out, because they also do leadership coaching in Dubbo or out west. And so it's a short flight, and it sounds absolutely amazing. Different sectors, different technologies, all on one direction. And so some of the insights that we've learned over the years is that nature transformation isn't going to begin with just one venture. It's going to require hundreds of ventures, hundreds of people, thousands solving individual problems as part of pieces of the puzzle. We need policy. We need corporate commitments. We need innovation. But you know what? Innovation is the multiplier. And so I ask again, what do these ventures have in common? Well, they show us that the nature positive future is already being built. And I think the real question is, what role will we play? Because the future won't be decided in theory, it's going to be decided in action. Thank you.